Hey you guys, the OA is about a blind woman who goes missing for 7 years. Now going by the name The OA, she refuses to tell anyone where she's been. Also, she's inexplicably regained her sight. However, after just 2 seasons, Netflix canceled the show on a cliffhanger. But how did the death of the OA give birth to a murder at the end of the world? First, let's take a look at the OA. In the show, the OA assembles a small group of local teenagers. She gradually reveals to the teenagers that she's on an urgent mission. She has to rescue a group of other missing people, and to do this, she has to open an interdimensional portal between worlds. Understandably, the townspeople are initially skeptical of the OA's far-fetched story. Through flashbacks, we learned that the OA was kidnapped at a young age. A scientist named Dr. Percy kept her and several other captives locked in an underground lab. He was convinced that he could gather evidence of an afterlife if he induced near-death experiences in them. The OA endured years of Dr. Percy's horrendous experiments. One particular NDE apparently unlocked metaphysical and supernatural abilities within her. As unbelievable as the show's plot seems at first, the OA won over many critics and gained a large fan base. Its flaws became the series' defining characteristic. The series mixed sci-fi tropes and detective noir into a unique experience. The OA touches on themes about death, trauma, and our capability as human beings to connect with and heal each other. The first season focused on unraveling the mysteries of the OA's past. The second season expanded the show's universe. Season 2 introduced private detective Kareem Washington. He becomes unwillingly entangled in helping the OA. They investigate the surreal disappearance of a missing teenage girl named Nina Azarova. Her disappearance is connected to an abandoned house that appears to be possessed. Meanwhile, in a different dimension, there's a multiverse in this show as well. Meanwhile, in a different dimension, the teenagers the OA assembled in the first season go rogue. The second season of the OA continued to receive widespread critical acclaim. It is considered by many to be the better of the 2 seasons. So what do you think? Is season 1 or season 2 better? Let me know in the comments. The show seemed to be hitting its creative stride, weaving an intricate web that spans dimensions and timelines. But then, just 4 months after the long-awaited season 2 finally debuted on Netflix, the streaming service abruptly announced they were canceling the show. Fans around the world were utterly distraught and confused. Why was the show axed so prematurely? And on an agonizing, unresolved cliffhanger, no less. One of the most frustrating aspects for the show's most devoted fans was the fact that co-creators had conceived of and carefully mapped out a 5-season story arc. This was confirmed by actor Jason Isaacs, who played the villain Dr. Hunter Percy, aka Hat. He stated that Marling and Batman Liege had proudly shown him their extensive plans for how the entire 5 seasons would ultimately connect and come together. So why then did Netflix fail to even give them the chance to finish? Netflix has never released any specific viewing data or metrics for the OA. Inside sources, however, have reported that the abrupt cancellation ultimately came down to cost-benefit analysis. From Netflix's perspective, according to their internal data, sadly, not enough people were watching week to week to justify the high production expenses per episode. With the streaming wars really heating up in 2019, Netflix had begun scrutinizing budgets versus potential audience reach more closely. This was a major deciding factor when assessing whether to renew a series. Upon first hearing the devastating news of the cancellation, Britt Marling elegantly eulogized the show. She told fans, "It has been an honor and pleasure to work with such an incredibly creative, imaginative, and deeply kind cast, crew, and writing staff, all led by Zal. The experience of playing OA changed me on a cellular level, and communing with each of you has been transformative. I've never experienced anything quite like it in my career. Not everybody will get this show, and that's okay. It was never for everybody." Britt went on to hint that she and Zal already had more stories they were passionate to tell in this world. In another message to fans, she stated, "Zal and I are deeply sad not to finish this story. Though our time together has come to an end, we have been so lucky to collaborate with such a brave and imaginative tribe of artists over the past 4 years. May each of you travel safely to the place where your dreams live." Highly distraught fans immediately responded by launching online petitions begging Netflix to save and revive the canceled show. Thousands even staged in-person protests outside Netflix's offices in Los Angeles. But despite the valiant efforts, the OA remained down for the count. But in its frustratingly short 2-season run, the OA still managed to make an undeniably profound impact in the TV landscape. On social media, OA fans from all walks of life began posting videos of themselves enthusiastically practicing the movements or sharing photos of the OA-inspired tattoos they had gotten inked on their bodies. Others spent hours closely dissecting each frame of the show looking for hidden clues and Easter eggs, and compiling elaborate fan theories about the deeper meanings behind its many mysteries. The OA touched on so many compelling themes and big ideas: the nature of reality, the existence of an afterlife, whether we all have an undiscovered metaphysical power and capability beyond what we conceive possible. It ambitiously grappled with philosophical questions about death, trauma, and the power of human connection. Some viewers were disappointed and others angered by the OA's ending on a cliffhanger, feeling it was an unsatisfying conclusion. As one fan put it, "The OA is the only show I've ever watched that made me genuinely furious with how bad the ending was." However, many others found the OA's ambitious themes and unconventional storytelling style exhilarating. As one enthusiastic fan exclaimed, "Brit Marling is a genius, both as a producer and actress, and I will watch anything that she is a part of." The sentiment is similarly mixed regarding A Murder at the End of the World. While some fans are thrilled at the prospect of whatever Marling has in store next, others remain skeptical or simply prefer the metaphysical nature of the OA over a murder mystery concept. But the news was not all bad for fans mourning the OA's untimely demise. Out of its ashes, a new phoenix would eventually rise in the form of A Murder at the End of the World, an ambitious new metaphysical mystery series again created by the visionary team of Brit Marling and Zal Batman-Leach. Though vastly different in plot and structure, A Murder at the End of the World represents a clear spiritual successor to the existential themes and genre-blurring storytelling that first put Marling and Batman-Leach on the map with the OA. The new series tells the story of Darby Hart, an amateur sleuth and true crime author played by Emma Corrin, who gets invited to an exclusive retreat for some of the greatest minds in tech, business, and other industries. The retreat is hosted by a charismatic, eccentric billionaire named Andy Ronson. Darby looks forward to networking with the other highly influential guests in this remote modern utopia, powered by Ronson's cutting-edge AI technology. But after one of the attendees turns up dead, Darby takes it upon herself to investigate whether it was in fact a murder, and if the killer is still hiding amongst them inside the high-tech hideaway as paranoia grows. With its central murder mystery plot and brooding conspiratorial tone, A Murder at the End of the World allows Marling and Batman-Leach to again tell an ambitious, thought-provoking story that defies genre constraints. Like the OA, it provides an elevated viewing experience that challenges audiences, this time touching on weighty themes related to technology, power, privilege, misogyny, and environmental destruction. A Murder at the End of the World has received mixed reviews since its premiere on Hulu. Some have praised the show's ambitious visuals and chilling Iceland setting. However, other critics feel the series gets bogged down in overly long episodes and flashbacks. As the Rolling Stone review states, after opening to the haunting strains of the Doors song, The End, A Murder at the End of the World yields consistently diminishing returns. The creators tried to shake up the murder mystery format by making the victim archetype into the lead detective. But Marling admitted this core subversion made the show much harder to write. She's quoted as saying, "You have to make something that looks like a house, and that everyone sees as a house, and that has a front door in a place that everybody remembers, but inside, all the scaffolding has to be different because you're putting them in a different gender and not giving them a badge." While ambitious and visually arresting, reviews indicate A Murder at the End of the World doesn't quite achieve the genre reinvention it's reaching for.